Hello folks, it's Tom from the Golden Goal Pod here today. Just going to bring you through some of my midfielder picks for my Game Week 9 Wildcard. I know it's a common time for people to be playing their wildcard chip, so thought I'd go through some midfielders that I think are good picks. And then I might have a slightly controversial opinion on one popular midfielder, and we'll talk through him at the end of the video. So let's get right into it. So first up, I've got Wilfried Zaha. I don't think many people will be too surprised to see me mention him here. I think a number of other FPL content creators have already singled him out as a really good asset. And here I've just presented his fixtures up until the World Cup, so the period that we really need to worry about when playing our wild card, and then some of his underlying stats from the FBref website. I mentioned this in the last video that I made, but FBref is a fantastic website. You can search for pretty much any player in Europe's top 5 leagues, find out their underlying stats, certainly XG, expected assists per 90 minutes, and it presents it in a nice table like this, so you can have a look. So Zaha, I mean, looking at those fixtures on the right there, some absolutely excellent fixtures. I think Crystal Palace probably have the best run up until the World Cup. The two toughest fixtures according to the FPL tracker are Chelsea and West Ham. I think Chelsea at home is a game that Crystal Palace could well score in. With Zaha being on penalties as well, I mean, all he needs is a penalty to knock one away. And then he's got some teams that aren't playing particularly well at the moment mixed in there as well. Leicester mainly, and Forest, who look pretty weak defensively. I mean, that's just the run to the World Cup. And then just quickly looking at his underlying stats, I mean, they're pretty excellent, really. Looking at those per 90 expected returns, I mean, we're looking at 0.7 expected goals or an assists per game. 0.78, which means pretty much every game he's going to be expected to get a goal or an assist. And he's factor out the penalties, so non-penalty expected goals and assists are sitting there at about 0.59. So again, in my head, that translates to more likely than not to score or assist every game, every 90 minutes that he plays. Just by proxy really being Crystal Palace's main man, he pretty much plays 90 minutes every game. You can see there in the playing time, obviously 5 times 90 is 450. So throughout the season so far, he's missed 9 minutes of football. And 90 minutes, he's played 90 minutes in 4 games, and the other one he played, by the looks of it, about 81 minutes. Next up is a player that was quite popular leading up to certainly this period now, and it's Marcus Rashford. I think I always thought at the start of the season when I saw that they priced Rashford at 6.5 million, I just thought it was too cheap. Now, looking at the fixtures, I don't think United have the best run. Certainly coming off of international break, Man City away is a very tough fixture. But if you think to times of past, certainly as a Man United fan myself, I think Rashford really does tend to show up against Man City. The way that Man City play, obviously with a high line, and the way that Rashford plays, trying to exploit a high line and running in behind, I really do think he's got a chance against City. Just the way that United have played in the big games they've had this season, setting up, defending quite well, and then hitting on the break. Rashford plays right into that. So I wouldn't ignore the Man City fixture. I actually think he's perfectly viable to start him in that game with the expectation that he's got a good chance of getting something out of it. Then going into, he's got Everton, Newcastle, Tottenham, Chelsea, West Ham, Aston Villa, Fulham. I don't think those are the worst fixtures in the world. And even against, the likes of Chelsea and Tottenham, again, I'm not sure you can really count Tottenham as a high line playing team, but I just think he can score against pretty much anyone because that's the type of player that he is. Really like Marcus Rashford. And again, quite similar to Zaha, really. Looking at the underlying stats, it's looking like per 90 minutes, according to the expected data anyway, he's on 0.56 expected attacking returns per game, which suggests again that he's more likely than not every game he plays to get an attacking return. For me, I think Marcus Rashford is a really viable option. The only thing, obviously, to think about is he's currently flagged in FPL, and I think he tweaked his hamstring in the last game that he played, and obviously well, Man United didn't play against Leeds, did they? So I can't really say he didn't feature. But he's had a good few. He'll have had a good few weeks off leading into that Man City game. So you'd like to think he'd be able to recover from the injury that he did pick up. So yeah, hopefully straight back into that starting 11 in the striking position against Man City. So yeah, Marcus Rashford. Next up, I've gone for, well, the FPL king himself, Mo Salah. I don't think this is a particularly surprising inclusion. I just think you can't ignore Salah. Now, I know Liverpool haven't had the greatest start to the Premier League season, but I just can't forget about Mo Salah. I think he has built some massive credit in the bank with his performances over the last few seasons, or ever since he joined Liverpool, really. You know, we forget, well, don't forget, no one really forgets, but he is the Premier League record goal scorer in a single season. And yeah, I fully expect him to come back fighting against Brighton, and I think we saw shades of that against Ajax as well. I know Liverpool fans have been telling me just how good Salah was in that Ajax game, and obviously came away with a goal. I just think with an international break behind him, game against Brighton, who have a new manager, I just think the redemption arc is on for Salah, and he could do really well in that Brighton game. And looking at those fixtures, I mean, following Brighton, he's got Arsenal and City. Now, I don't think those are the best defensive fixtures for Liverpool, but Salah always turns up in these big games. You know, he regularly does well against Man City, and I would suggest that Arsenal play pretty similarly to Man City as well. So that leads me to think that he'll play quite well against Arsenal as well. You know, trying to exploit the high line, running in behind. You know, he just needs a penalty, doesn't he, Salah, to score? And then just looking at those underlying stats, he's got a 0.72 non-penalty expected goals and assists per game. So yeah, that's a really, really, really high number. Suggests that obviously, much like Zaha and Rashford, he's more likely than not to come away with an attacking return per 90 minutes that he plays. And you can see there in his play time as well. He's started 6 games, played 90 minutes every game. So yeah, I think you can pretty much guarantee Salah, as long as he's fit, he's going to start all of those games as well. And to be completely honest, you know, I don't think I'd be going differential at game week 9, but I think he is a definite captain option for this game week. Brighton, new manager. Yeah, they'll be feeling quite dejected after obviously losing Graham Potter. Liverpool at Anfield, I just think it's set up for Salah to do really well. I'm sure I'll be eating my words after game week 9, but yeah, I just think he's a great option. And yeah, certainly a good shout for captaincy as well, especially with Haaland against United in game week 9. I know City and Haaland have just been unstoppable, but I've just got a feeling about United in that game. It just feels like the kind of game that United can get a result from, and maybe keep Haaland quiet as well. I know, being a United fan, watching football Twitter when Martinez signed centre-back for United, there were clips of him man-marking both Darwin Núñez and Haaland out of Champions League games. Now, I'm not saying for sure that's going to happen, but yeah, what I'm trying to say is I really fancy Salah in game week 9, and for the run into the World Cup as well. I think look at all those games, and they're games that he can score in. And then finally, I want to talk about a player that seems to be appearing in quite a lot of people's fantasy teams, and it's James Maddison. Now, I'm not going to say that he's a bad option. Looking at those fixtures alone suggests that he's a great pick, right? In Forest, Bournemouth, Palace, Leeds, Wolves, that's an excellent run from game week 9 onwards. But I just wanted to draw people's attention to those underlying stats down there. So he's played, obviously, 6 games, 90 minutes in each game, 3 goals and an assist. But when you look at the per 90 minutes expected goal stats, you know, he's at 0.16 xG per 90, 0.08 assists. And per game, the combined non-penalty XG and expected assists is 0.25, and those are not really that great. So he's basically, well, by the looks of it, he's scored 3 goals from 1 expected. Again, I know I don't firmly sit on these expected goal stats, but they do give you some idea of how players are playing and how bigger chances they are getting every game. And Maddison's stats do not suggest that he's going to be an absolutely killer pick. That's just the stats, of course. Those fixtures are ridiculous. Bar Palace, I don't think there's a better run than that. Especially even in like game week 14 against City, you could just probably bench him for that week if you didn't believe in him. But yeah, I think the fixtures alone probably suggest that you should pick him. But yeah, just looking at those underlying stats there, certainly in my head anyway, they cast a bit of doubt because they're not quite as good as I thought they might be. And that's it. 4 midfielders, so Zaha, Rashford, Salah and Maddison. 4 midfielders that I think are viable picks for your Game Week 9 wildcard. And just a little message there around Maddison, just to show those underlying stats and that they probably don't align to how good a pick he looks to be. I'll leave it there for this video. If you like what you saw, leave me a like rating and subscribe to the Golden Goal channel for more FPL content. Bye for now.